the medieval harp. As you can imagine, there was no standardization of these instruments, particularly with the fiddles. There are many shapes and sizes, many numbers of strings, any number of playing positions, and none left for us to look at now. So thus the Rhode Island prospect. We're going to do a piece that's in the form called a ballata, which is an ABB form by one of the most prolific and important composers of the 14th century, Francesco Landini. And we're also doing an instrumental version of this piece that's from a manuscript called Faenza, and nobody really knows what this is meant for. There's no indication of instruments or who should be playing it, but they have the same bottom line, which is actually called a tenor, and that's from the word tenere, to hold. We don't get something called a bass part till the Renaissance, till way after the noon of the Renaissance.
This instrument is a medieval lute based on a design from the early 15th century via South Carolina. It also does not survive. There are a few types that survive from the 15th century and later. The lute came into Europe via the Moors, who ruled Spain, southern Spain. And the word lute comes from the Arabic al-ud, which means the piece of wood, the wood. The oud, as it's known, is still played as a popular folk and classical music in the Middle East. So this version you would find in Italy and in Northern Europe throughout the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries. And unlike the Renaissance lute, it's actually played with a plectrum rather than the fingers, which is much more like its origins, where it's still played with a plectrum in the Middle East.
As I glance over the translation, it can really be summed up in one sentence. The lady that I love will never have any mercy on me.
It was pretty much every song from about the year 1200 to 1450.
Well, there's a very small subset of Padua's great, Venetia's great, Rome is great.
And yet my lady still will never have any mercy on me, even though she lives in Padua.